Okay, so the last part of the sheet, I just want you to write half equations at the anode, which I'm going to do for you now. We've already had a look at chlorine, but I'm going to do it again, okay? I know a chlorine ion has a -1 charge because it's in group 7. I want to make that, so I always do it bit by bit rather than writing the full equation, okay? Chloride ion, I want to make it a chlorine atom, okay? It's gained 1 electron. I need to take that electron away to make it a chlorine atom, okay? But then I remember that chlorine is diatomic. It never exists by itself, so it's always going to be Cl2. If I've got 2 chlorine atoms on this side, then I'm going to have 2 chloride ions on this side. That means I'm going to need to lose 2 electrons in total. And this is my half equation for chlorine. If I do bromine, it's exactly the same. Bromine's also in group 7, so it's also got a -1 charge. I need to make that a bromine atom. So I need to lose an electron. Bromine, for the exact same reason as chlorine, is also diatomic. Both of those bromine atoms will pair up. You'll form Br2. That means I need 2 over here, but there'll be 2 separate bromide ions, which means I'm losing 2 electrons. Fluorine, F-, it's in group 7. I want to make it fluorine again. It needs to lose an electron. But then I remember it's F2, which means it needs to be 2F there and 2 there. Iodine, I-. I want to make it I again. It needs to lose an electron. Therefore, it has to be I2, 2, 2. So they're all done in exactly the same way. Again, you'll see you've got something charged on the left-hand side. You've got something neutral on the right-hand side. And these charges here are always matching. It's a negative charge in the ion. You're taking the electrons away. When we had a positive charge in the ion, we were adding electrons. Negative charge in the ion, we're taking the electrons away. The last one is oxygen. So oxygen is in group 6. And it has, oxygen's in group 6 and it has a 2- charge. I want to make that an oxygen atom again. It's gained 2 electrons, so I need to take those 2 electrons away to give me oxygen again. But just like the halogens, oxygen is also diatomic. Oxygen never exists as an oxygen atom. It always exists as 2 atoms joined together as O2. If I've got 2 oxygens on this side, then I need 2 oxygens on this side. Again, I'm using a big number because those oxygen ions aren't actually bonded together. If I've got 2 oxygen ions that each need to lose 2 electrons, then in total, I am losing 4 electrons. So it's going to be -4 electrons goes to O2. These are the only half equations that you're asked to write at the anode. Okay, you're going to be given a halogen or you're going to be given oxygen, because if you look back at what we did on Monday, these are the only products that ever form at the anode. Okay, so all of the halogen half equations are exactly the same. You're just changing the element each time. They're all diatomic, and then the oxygen one is slightly different, but following the same pattern. Okay, in each case, you see you are losing electrons. That's why we say it's oxidation, because you're losing electrons at the anode. So if I go back to what we did a second ago, we see we had a reduction at the cathode. You have got oxidation at the anode. They can ask you that as a simple 1-mark question. What process is happening at the anode? What process is happening at the cathode? The homework I'm sending you for Friday, the quiz, you've got a full week to do it. But I'm going to give you lots of these equations as multiple choice questions. Please do them to the best of your ability. And if you are struggling, please write to me on our class Teams page. Please use that as opposed to messaging me on Show My Homework. It just keeps everything all together, and then we can all see each other's questions rather than me answering the same thing over and over again. I know this, it's potentially a little bit tricky. Please, please, please ask me questions if you don't understand it, okay? It's really important that we keep on top of this. So that we're not behind when we go back into year 11. So please, please, please communicate with me as much as you need to, and make sure that you are actually watching these videos and doing the work.